All right, so my speech is one step at a time because, since I was a young child, I wanted to be a Marine Corps officer. My father was one. He was an artillery officer and a series commander, and I've always had a huge respect for him because of the amount of, he's just a great guy. He's very responsible. He has a great work ethic, and he always credited that to his time in the Marine Corps. And so I, as a child, thought, hey, I want to be like my dad, and I think this is the best way that I can be like that. So growing up, I always didn't fully realize how hard it is to become a Marine Corps officer. My dad always told me it is the hardest thing you'll ever do. So when coming here, I was completely unprepared. I was 235 pounds, running like a 28-minute 3-mile. I couldn't do a single pull-up and only 63 crunches. So I had a score of 105 out of 300. Now, this is terrible. Like, it is absolutely abysmal to have that score. Like, you're not getting anywhere with that. So I didn't understand that to get into the contingent here, you had to have at least a 225, which is 75 points out of 100 in each event. So I started off thinking that I would come here and that they would prepare me to become a Marine Corps officer, not that I needed to come already prepared to a certain level. So it was very disheartening to find out that when I got here that I wouldn't have the guidance of that department, and that I felt very alone. And then I met Captain Dieters, who's with the platoon leaders course. So it's like a separate program that commissions Marine Corps officers. So with his help, I got a lot of guidance on how to get my PFT score up, how to get better, and how to become my dream, which is a Marine Corps officer. So through lots of hard work and training throughout this semester, I took a bunch of different PFTs, and each time it rose. Like the first time I got up to 5 pull-ups, and then I got up to 8, and then I got up to like 10. And then when I came back for this semester, I had the PFT to get me into the Marine contingent. And I was nervous as can be. I thought, there's no way I'm going to do this. I knew what I had to get. I had to set the best record in every event that I ever had to come even close. So I wake up for the morning, really nervous. I hydrated a bunch last night, just ready. So I get out there. It's really good weather, so that's lucky. I get to each event, and I score 100 crunches, which is the max on the crunches. So that was it was good. I was like, all right, this is good. I set myself up for success here. And then I got 11 pull-ups, which is one more than I thought that I would get. So it was like, all right, this is good. So I just need to run a 22:30 3-mile. And this was faster than I've ever done it. The closest I'd ever done was the 23. So I had to drop 30 seconds off of the best I'd ever done. And I was really nervous. I was like, this is going to be really hard. This is fast. That's like this is almost a 7:30-minute 3-mile, and I know that I've had trouble just running 1 mile at 7:30 and then doing 2 miles at 7:30. So I get out there, right, and we start running, and I have a friend who I know is going to run around a 21 or to a 22. So I try and pace myself off him. And we get to mile 2, and we hit that 15-minute mark. And it is just killing me. We're running, and I'm keeping pace, but it's hard. And unfortunately, I couldn't keep up with him all the way. But I find another person who is kind of keeping a pace. So I run with him. And when we get to about the third quarter mile, like the 0.75 of that last mile, I know I got a quarter mile left. I've worked so hard to hit this point mark, and I just really, I got to book it. So I just decide, you know what, this has already sucked so much that if I don't meet my time, it's just going to make it actually sucked. So I just start busting it, and I just start sprinting that last quarter mile. And anyone knows, it doesn't matter how long a PT test. It can be 2 miles. When you're doing that last quarter mile and you're busting it, it really sucks. Like, you start feeling lightheaded because you just picked up your pace. So I get there, right? I'm running it, and I hit a 22:33. So just barely getting it. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm pretty sure I made it. Like that should be at least a 226. Maybe I made it by 1 point. So I'm kind of like conflicted inside. Did I make it? Because I don't know, because this is very, very close. So I get back to my house, or not my house, the barracks. Oh my gosh, I'm calling it a house. It's terrible. So I get back to the barracks, and I'm rushed, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna have enough time to even check it. I'm gonna have to go to breakfast thinking, oh, did I make it? And people are gonna ask me, did you make it? And I'm gonna have to say, I'm not exactly sure. I think I did. So breakfast is over. I rush up back to my room. My roommate Miller and then my friend Lum are there. And so I have the thing pulled up, and I enter in each score. And so how the calculator works is it slowly kind of rises up, and so you can see the numbers, and then it just stops. So we enter everything in, and I hit calculate, and it's just rising. So we're just waiting in anticipation, and it stops. 227. I made it by 2 points. But I had increased by around 120 points in the semester on the Marine Corps PFT, so I was very happy with this. We just kind of exploded in like just pure happiness, because like we all knew how much this kind of meant to me. So, and then I told my OSO, Captain Dieters, because I'm pursuing a contract and trying to get a PLC contract, because if I don't get the scholarship, then I can at least get the contract and have a spot in OCS. And he told me, so if I pass the aviation test, he thinks I can get an aviation slot. He's pretty confident about it, because the fact that you're from the Citadel really boosts your resume. So it was really good to see that I'm not there yet at all. I'm not even like 10% done yet, but I just hit a really major milestone, and it's all about getting there one step at a time. I had mendacity, a lack of honesty with myself, and thinking that I was good enough, and you're not. You got to work your butt off. And some people are maybe just super athletic and just can kind of show up and do it, but I was not one of those. So it was just really good to see that I had reached that major milestone. So the next one obviously is taking that aviation test and passing it with a good score so that I can get in, and then hopefully get into OCS and become a Marine Corps officer. And that is the end of my speech, one step at a time.